Hello students, you are welcome once again in math class with Pathak sir. As you know, nowadays I am discussing a series of videos. In series of videos, those topics, those concepts of every chapter in which students feel problem, students feel headache. So in this sequence, first of all, I started graph of quadratic equation. In previous two videos, I have discussed some concepts which you can watch on my YouTube channel. In the following, continuing the following manner, now I am going ahead. So I am going to discuss remaining concepts and questions based on these concepts. So as you know, in first video we learned graph of a quadratic equation is parabola, quadratic expression is a parabola. Suppose a quadratic expression y equals to ax square plus bx plus c. If a is positive, parabola will open upward. A negative, parabola will open downward. And in our second video we learned if discriminant means b square minus 4ac. If discriminant is positive, then graph will cut the x-axis on 2 points. If discriminant equal to 0, graph will cut x-axis only at 1 point. If discriminant is negative, graph will not cut the x-axis. How this happens, you can check in my previous videos on YouTube. Now I am going further. So this is our quadratic expression. Y equals to ax square plus bx plus c. Okay, we know discriminant will be b square minus 4ac. Now I will take two cases. Case number 1. Suppose this A is positive. Suppose this A is positive. Now again under this A is positive, I will make three cases. Case number 1, discriminant is also positive. Value of this we will find the value of discriminant in the given question if our discriminant is positive. So we know if discriminant is positive, then roots are what? Real and unequal, and graph will cut. We have learned already, graph will cut x-axis on 2 points. Also A is positive. We have learned A is positive, opening will be upward. So Graph will cut x-axis at 2 points and opening will be what? Opening will be upward, like this. Okay. So this will be the shape of the graph. If A is positive, discriminant is positive. And these points are called what? You know, where graph cut x-axis, these points are called roots, alpha and beta. Suppose roots are alpha and beta. Okay. So this will be the graph. In this case, A is positive, discriminant is also positive. Alpha and beta are the roots of this quadratic. Now check, now see where this graph is positive and where this graph is negative. Value of graph means value of y. Value of y. Y is positive. In this area, graph is going like this. Sorry. So our graph is going like this. So graph is positive. This y is positive in the interval minus infinity to alpha. Y is positive. Again see, here also y is positive. After beta, y is positive. So in this interval, beta to infinity, y is positive. Okay. So our quadratic will be, you can say fx, y and fx are same. You can say y or you can say fx. So fx will be positive in which interval? Minus infinity to alpha, minus infinity to alpha, union this beta to infinity. In this interval, y will be positive. Quadratic expression will be positive. And you can see when this quadratic expression is negative, when y is negative, between alpha and beta, y is below x-axis. So this is negative. So in this interval, alpha to beta, so fx will be negative for alpha to beta in this interval. So you learn in a quadratic expression, if our a is positive, coefficient of x square is positive, discriminant is positive, then quadratic will be positive in the interval minus alpha infinity to alpha, union beta to infinity. Alpha beta are what? Alpha beta are the roots of quadratic. And fx will be negative in the interval alpha to beta. Okay, I hope you will be clear. Now we will see the minimum value and maximum value of y. Minimum value and maximum value. So this is called what? This is called vertex. And we have learned coordinate of vertex in our first video. Coordinate of vertex are minus b upon 2a minus d upon 4a. This is the coordinate of what? Vertex. Okay. Minus b upon 2a minus d upon 4a. So at x, this is x, this is y. So at x equal to minus b upon 2a, this is minimum value, minus d upon 4a. This is the minimum value. This is the value of y. So minimum value is this quadratic expression minus d upon 4a. And what is the maximum value? You can see graph is going to infinity, graph is going to upward. It is stopping nowhere. So maximum value will be what? infinity. So value of y, okay, range, you can say range. So range of y, range of quadratic will be minus d upon 4a, minus d upon 4a to what? Infinity. Minus d upon 4a to infinity. Correct? So minimum value will be minus d upon 4a. So I hope you will be clear up to this point. Now I am taking new page. Now I will take, I suppose A is positive, then I took first case, discriminant is positive. Now I will take second case, part B, discriminant is equal to 0. This is under what? Under A positive. This case is also under A positive. Now discriminant is 0. So we know that if discriminant is 0, roots are real and equal. Okay. So we have, there are two equal roots. Two equal things are not two things but only one thing, but same thing, only one thing. If there are two equal things, it means that there is only one thing. So two equal roots means only one root. Okay. So we have learned graph will cut x-axis only at one point. We have learned in our first video. And A is positive, so opening will be upward. Graph will cut x-axis only at one point and opening will be what? Opening will be upward. Okay. Now this is vertex and coordinate of vertex will be minus p upon 2a and value of y is here 0. This point is lying on x-axis, so value of y is 0. So you can see when this graph is positive, this graph is always positive, always have a x-axis. So y is always positive. Also y may be 0. Okay, graph is cutting at one point on x-axis. So quadratic will be 0 at this point, at minus p upon 2a, y will be 0. So y will also be 0 and y is positive. So if this, so what is our answer? Fx will be what? Fx will be either positive or equal to 0. Either greater than 0 or equal to 0. Fx will be greater than or equal to 0. So what result we achieved? If A is positive, discriminant is 0, then our quadratic will be greater than or equal to 0. Always. Okay. It is clear to you. You can see everything in your graph. Now I will take the minimum value of y. You can see minimum value of y is how much? 0. Minimum value of y is here at x equal to minus p upon 2a. Y is 0. So minimum value is 0. Now I will take maximum value. You can see graph is going upward, not stopping anywhere. So y will go to infinity. So minimum will be 0 in this case, and so range will be, range means value of y, that will be 0 to infinity. Okay, there will be big bracket. You can see in previous page, there also will be big bracket. At minus d upon 4a, there will be big bracket. Okay. So you learn fx will be positive or equal to 0 and minimum and maximum value. Now I will take third case. So I am taking again new page. So our A was positive and under this condition I am taking discriminant less than 0. Now I am taking discriminant less than 0. So discriminant is negative, means there is no real root. There are imaginary roots. Okay. There is no real root. So we have learned in first video, if discriminant is negative, graph will never cut x-axis. Graph will never cut x-axis. Okay? Clear? So graph will never cut x-axis. Now A is positive, so opening will be upward. Opening will be upward and graph will never cut x-axis. So our graph will be like this one. Okay, graph shape of graph will be like this. In this case, if you check what is the value of y, so graph is always above x-axis. So y is always positive, fx is always positive. So what result? We concluded fx is always positive. So we got the result. If A is positive, discriminant is negative, so fx is always positive. Okay. Now this is what? This is vertex. The coordinate of vertex are minus b upon 2a minus d upon 4a. Correct? So you can see minimum value is what? Minimum value is this, minus d upon 4a. At which point x equal to minus b upon 2a. Minimum value is minus d upon 4a. So minimum value will be minus d upon 4a. And you can see maximum value. What will be the maximum value? So graph is moving to infinity. So infinity. So we can say range will be what? Range will be our minus d upon 4a to infinity, and here big bracket. Also in first page apply big bracket here. So you got the result. If a is positive in a quadratic expression and discriminant is negative, then quadratic means y means fx will always be positive. Okay. So you learned for 3 cases. Okay, I am taking new page. So what you learned up to this point, if A is positive, discriminant is positive, then fx is positive for x belongs to minus infinity to alpha union beta to infinity. Correct? Okay. And also you learn if A is positive and our discriminant is equal to 0, if A is, this is A, if A is positive and discriminant is equal to 0, then fx will be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, for all x. Okay, if A is what? A is positive and discriminant equal to 0, then fx will be greater. Okay. Now in third case you learned if A is positive, D is negative, then fx will be what? Fx will be always positive, not equal to 0. Here we will not apply equal to 0, only positive for all x. So this last one, third one, this property is very much important, and this property is used in the questions of IIT JEE. So you must know the first two, but second and third both, second and third property are very much important because these are used in questions of IIT JEE. First one you must know, but it is used very less, few times, and these two are used many times. Now what about minimum and maximum value when a is positive. So we have learned minimum and maximum value. So I am writing conclusion here. You observed in your learning that when discriminant was positive, minimum value was minus d upon 4a. When discriminant was negative, then also minimum value was minus d upon 4a. But when discriminant was 0 in our second case, we learned earlier in this video when d equal to 0, so minimum value is 0. When d is positive or d is negative, minimum value is minus d upon 4a. So I will make two cases for minimum value. If d equal to 0, minimum value of quadratic will be 0. Okay, if d equal to 0. If d not equal to 0, means positive or negative, then minimum value of quadratic will be minus d upon 4a. Then minimum value will be minus d upon 4a. So in this page, I wrote the conclusion for positive and negative value of fx, when it will be positive, when it will be negative, and also minimum and maximum value. So in this page I wrote the conclusion. These two properties are very important, second and third. So always remember, if fx is positive, it means a is positive and d is negative. Always remember. If in any question, which type of questions you will face, you will be given a quadratic expression and he will say this quadratic expression is always positive. So find the value of something. This you will find this type of question. So always remember, if quadratic is positive, it means a is positive and discriminant is negative. And if quadratic is greater than or equal to 0, fx is greater than or equal to 0, then what? A will be positive and discriminant will be 0. Okay. For minimum value, if discriminant is 0, minimum value is 0. If discriminant not equal to 0, so minimum value is minus d upon 4a. Okay. So I explained you thoroughly this concept for a positive. Okay, I explained you each and everything. If in the quadratic expression y equal to ax square plus bx plus c, if a is positive, so I explained you each and everything. Okay. Now in my second video, I will take if a is negative. If a is negative, then what will be the result? And also some questions asked in IIT JEE we will discuss. So keep watching, keep learning, and all the best for your future. Thank you.